Hell or High Water is directed by David Mackenzie and written by Taylor Sheridan, the same man who wrote the excellent crime film Sicario in 2015, which was also one of my favorite films from last year. Hell or High Water stars Chris Pine and Ben Foster as brothers who carry out a series of bank heists in Texas in order to save their family farm, and Jeff Bridges is one of the two Texas Rangers in pursuit of the brothers as they go about their robberies. So I saw a trailer earlier this year for the film, and I was quite excited at the idea of a modern Western, especially seeing Jeff Bridges as the sheriff in the film. So when I saw that only one theater in my area was opening with it last night, I rushed to go see this film as soon as I could to see if it was worth all the praise that has already had heaped upon it by nearly every critic who has seen it. And I must say, I wholeheartedly agree with the praise this film is receiving. Hell or High Water is definitely one of my favorite films of the year. It is a superbly directed, written, and acted modern Western film. And I say modern Western because it is very reminiscent of other Western films that have come out in the 2000s, like No Country for Old Men, which takes the Western format and gives it a modern-day twist, or in the case of No Country for Old Men, an 80s twist. Similarly to that film, Hell or High Water shows a sheriff, or ranger as he's addressed in the film, who is nearing retirement and is on what appears to be his last case. Although this film is not nearly as dark and brooding as No Country for Old Men. In fact, there is actually a great deal of humor sprinkled throughout this film that derives naturally from the relationship Jeff Bridges' character has with his partner and the relationship of the two brothers portrayed by Chris Pine and Ben Foster. For me, Jeff Bridges is at his absolute best in this film. Truly a noteworthy performance in my eyes as the sheriff. While watching the performance, I felt as if every mannerism of the character was carefully calculated by Bridges. The character is frequently comical and witty in moments with his partner, which lightens the mood of the film. But he's also a character who resonates with emotion in a few powerful scenes. Bridges definitely deserves some attention for the role in this film. Foster and Pine, additionally, were fantastic as a lunatic ex-con and a son who has always tried to do the right thing by his family, respectively. Many people seem to be sick of Ben Foster playing this crazy individual in films, but I've really always thoroughly enjoyed his performances, especially his character as the ruthless Charlie Prince in the remake of 310 to Yuma. Every action the brothers carried out or conversations they had felt like it had a purpose within their relationship and really seemed to define their personalities, their very distinct personalities as this brother duo. The writer Sheridan did an excellent job of writing dialogues between the two brothers in order to drive the story along and to flesh their lives out instead of blatantly giving moments of expository remarks. Many of the lines are slightly ambiguous at times, giving us just enough so that there are moments where the audience must put together two and two from what they're seeing and what they're hearing from the brothers to realize why these two men are doing what they are doing and where they have been and what kind of life they have had. And for a film that is under an hour and 40 minutes, they do this incredibly well. I always appreciate writers who are willing to make the audience come to their own conclusions throughout the film instead of blatantly throwing information up on the screen because they assume the audience is too stupid to figure it out. That the characters are so well conveyed in such a short amount of time is partly due to the sharp direction of David Mackenzie, a director who I was unaware of until seeing this film. I now feel obligated to view some of his filmography after seeing this film. I thought Mackenzie did an excellent job of keeping the film very taut and concise throughout, leaving us with only necessary details and moments of extensive dialogue. The camera work is also beautiful, as Mackenzie and his cinematographer were able to capture some very exciting wide shots of the gorgeous landscape and also continuous shots in certain scenes where the audience should feel tension and suspense. The skillful camera work added to this suspense and the beauty throughout the film. The soundtrack and the score were also quite carefully composed and edited into the film, as the film has moments tonally where it goes from suspense to emotionally weighted moments to lighthearted banter from scene to scene and to character, allowing the music to mesh very well with the tone of the film as it flowed and helped carry the film along. My minimal issues with the film starts with pacing. Portions of the second act slowed down as I spent time delving into the characters, which I greatly enjoyed while watching the film, but I also felt that the conversations and moments of dialogue were not always the most riveting. I appreciated the moments between the characters, as the audience was able to get a feel for who these characters are, but it did drag at moments. Secondly, there was a decision made by Ben Foster's character late in the second act that seemed kind of convenient to me and took me out of the movie for a moment. It changed the rest of the film, which I wasn't upset about because I enjoyed the third act, but I simply felt the decision by his character was way too obvious. Lastly, I was hoping for a bit more of a dark and or ambiguous ending, which in a way it was ambiguous, but I felt like this film did an excellent job of avoiding romanticized versions of the Western and crime genres, going instead for very realistic actions and reactions from the main characters and the extras in the film. So to me, the ending felt a tad contrasting with the rest of the film in that respect. It had a more romantic feel, while very blue-collar romantic, than the rest of the film did. Overall, these issues really didn't deter me greatly from awarding a high grade to the film. I believe it is rare to see westerns at the box office today, so when we receive one, even a modern one, I find it even more satisfying to see one that is so excellently executed and also avoids feeling romanticized like most films in the genre do. And it was only inevitable that I would love this film. So please, go see this film and give it support. I'm awarding it a 9.5 out of 10. I'm very much looking forward to seeing Kubo and War Dogs very soon. Hopefully I can get those reviews out quickly. Thanks for watching, and keep watching movies.
You want to get us killed? Huh? That's out of Midland Branch. That's not part of the plan. Now we got to go back to the ranch and bury the car.
No, we do not. We're over halfway to Oklahoma.
I'm not driving a stolen getaway car. Look, get Indian Casino. Just put us a day behind.
Well, I got us a day ahead this morning, so I guess we're even. You're welcome.